There is a white powder sitting on the shelf of your local grocery store right now, between the laundry detergent and the dish soap, that will collapse an entire ant colony in 24 hours flat. It costs less than $1 per use. It doesn't kill ants on contact. It does something far worse. It hijacks the colony's own survival instincts and turns every single worker ant into an unwitting assassin that poisons the queen, the larvae, the soldiers, every living thing underground from the inside out. Your great-grandmother knew about it. She didn't call an exterminator. She didn't sign a quarterly contract. She walked to the kitchen, mixed 2 ingredients, and the ants were gone by morning. But here's the part that should make you furious. The pest control industry, a $26 billion machine, has spent decades burying this from your memory. Not because it failed, because it worked too well. Because a substance that eliminates your ant problem for pocket change cannot generate a $300 service call. And what can't generate a service call can't feed a recurring revenue empire. Stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you will never pay an exterminator again. Let me hit you with some numbers first, because what the pest industry doesn't want is an informed homeowner. Roughly half of all American households, that's over 65 million homes, battle an ant infestation every single year. Ants are not the second most common pest, not the third. They are number 1, more common than cockroaches, mice, and termites combined. And every single spring, those 65 million households get funneled into the same machine. A technician shows up. He sprays your baseboards. He hands you a brochure. He tells you he'll be back in 90 days. And your credit card gets billed $150 to $300 per visit, 4 times a year, for as long as you own that house. Severe carpenter ant problems? That single visit can run $1,400. Over 10 years, the average homeowner spends $4,000 to $5,000 on quarterly ant service. Let that number sink in. Now here's what they will never tell you during that visit. Between 70 and 85% of a pest control company's entire annual revenue comes from recurring service contracts, not one-time fixes. Subscriptions. The business model doesn't profit from solving your problem permanently. It profits from managing it, just barely, so you keep renewing. A permanent solution is the worst possible outcome for their balance sheet. And the permanent solution has been sitting on your grocery shelf since 1948. Let me take you back to where this story begins. Death Valley, California, the hottest recorded place on the surface of the earth. A broke prospector named Aaron Winters is living in a stone shelter carved into a hillside near Furnace Creek. Him and his wife Rosie barely surviving in a hole half-hewn from rock with a thatched roof. One night, a stranger named Henry Spiller stumbles out of the desert and tells Winters about a strange white mineral being pulled from dry lake beds across the Nevada border. Strange crystals scattered across the salt flats like cotton balls. Winters freezes, because he'd seen those exact crystals scattered across the marshes right outside his own camp. That same night, Aaron scrapes the white powder into a tin pan, holds a flame underneath, and watches it burn bright green. The green flame test. An ancient, unmistakable indicator of one specific mineral: borax. A mineral that had been transported along the Silk Road for centuries, prized across Tibet and Central Asia long before any American prospector knew its name. Within months, a San Francisco businessman named William Tell Coleman buys the mineral rights for the entire deposit and builds the Harmony Borax Works, the first commercial borax refinery in Death Valley. But there is one enormous problem. The nearest railroad is 165 miles away, across some of the most waterless, brutal terrain on the continent. Summer temperatures regularly hit 130 degrees. No roads, no water between stops. Coleman commissions custom-built wagons, each engineered to haul 10 tons of refined borax, pulled by 18 mules and 2 horses. The legendary 20-mule team. Fully loaded, 2 wagons plus a 1,200-gallon water tank, the rig weighed over 36 tons and crawled 17 miles a day through scorching desert. The round trip took 20 days. A new team left every 4 days like clockwork. And across 6 continuous years, from 1883 to 1889, Not one animal was lost, and not a single wagon broke down. 20 million pounds of borax dragged out of that furnace by mules and men. By the late 1800s, borax had become a household staple. Laundry soap, toothpaste, ceramic glaze, cleaning solutions. The 20 Mule Team brand became one of the most recognized trademarks in the country. But there was one use the industry would eventually prefer you forget entirely. Here's exactly how borax destroys an ant colony from the inside out. And once you understand this mechanism, you'll realize why no surface spray on Earth can compete. When a foraging worker ant finds the borax and sugar mixture, it does not die on contact. That is the genius. Borax disrupts the ant's digestive system at the cellular level, slowly breaking down its metabolism and dehydrating it from the inside. But the process takes 24 to 48 hours, which means the poisoned worker has plenty of time to do exactly what its biology demands. Carry food back to the nest. The worker returns to the colony and regurgitates the contaminated syrup directly into the mouths of other workers, developing larvae, and ultimately, the queen herself. Scientists call this process trophallaxis, the mouth-to-mouth food-sharing behavior that holds every ant colony on the planet together. It's the same system that allows a colony of 50,000 ants to function as one superorganism, passing nutrients through an unbroken chain of regurgitation. This is why surface sprays fail. Sprays kill the ants you can see, but the queen, the larvae, the deep nest, completely untouched. The colony rebuilds in days. Borax doesn't attack the surface. It infiltrates the supply chain. It turns the colony's greatest evolutionary advantage into a death sentence. And here's where it gets devastating. As foraging ants travel between the bait and the colony, they lay down pheromone trails that actively recruit more workers to the food source. More ants come. More poison floods the nest. The cascade becomes unstoppable. The queen ingests the contaminated food. Her egg production collapses, and the entire colony disintegrates from the center outward. One application, $1, colony death. Borax is lethal to carpenter ants, odorous house ants, pavement ants, sugar ants, fire ants, and Argentine ants. Every species that sends workers out foraging is vulnerable, because every ant species on Earth shares food through the exact same biological mechanism. There is no species-specific workaround. There is no resistance. There is no escape. Now here's exactly what to do. No filler, no fluff. Just the method that researchers, university entomologists, and even the commercial bait manufacturers themselves have relied on for decades. Go to any grocery store, hardware store, or pharmacy and pick up a box of 20 Mule Team borax. It costs about $4. A single box will last you years of treatments across multiple seasons. In a clean bowl, combine 1 tablespoon of borax with 3 tablespoons of regular white granulated sugar. The ratio matters. Pay attention. 3 parts sugar, 1 part borax. Too much borax, and the ants detect something wrong and refuse the bait entirely. Too little, and the workers survive long enough for the colony to recover. 3:1 is the proven ratio. It's been validated in laboratory settings and used in commercial formulations for decades. Add roughly a 1/4 cup of warm water. Stir slowly until the sugar and borax dissolve completely into a clear, thick syrup, roughly the consistency of pancake batter. Soak clean cotton balls in the mixture. Place them directly along ant trails, kitchen counters, bathroom edges, baseboards, under cabinets, near any visible entry point. Now, if the ants in your home seem to prefer proteins over sweets, which some species do seasonally, mix 1 teaspoon of borax with 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. Form it into a thick paste and place small amounts on wax paper or inside plastic bottle caps near the activity zones. Now here is the most critical rule of this entire process. Do not kill the ants walking to the bait. I know the instinct is to squish them or spray them. You have to resist completely. This is where 90% of people fail, and it is exactly what the pest control industry counts on. If you kill the foraging workers, you destroy the delivery mechanism. The colony survives underground. The queen keeps pumping out thousands of eggs a day, and within a week, you're frustrated enough to call the exterminator. which is precisely how their revenue model works. Leave them alive. Let them feast. Let them carry that toxic payload straight into the heart of the nest. Within hours, you will see more ants than before. Thick, organized lines swarming the bait. This is not failure. This is total victory in motion. They are recruiting the entire colony's workforce, laying pheromone highways directly to your trap, summoning every available body to the poison. By the next morning, the trail slows to a trickle. By 48 hours, the colony is in full collapse. The queen has been fed contaminated food. Egg production shuts down. The remaining workers scatter, disoriented, unable to follow chemical signals. Refresh the bait once more after a few days to catch stragglers or satellite colonies, and you're done. One homeowner in the South reported that after 3 full years of paying quarterly pest service, he set out the borax mixture on a Friday night and had 0 ant activity by Sunday morning. His annual pest bill had been over $500. His borax application cost him roughly 12 cents. Now, I'm going to be straight with you here, because honesty is what separates this channel from the industry that profits from confusion. Borax is classified as low toxicity for humans and pets. The EPA considers it safe for household use, but it is not completely harmless if swallowed in large quantities. Take basic precautions. Keep bait stations out of reach of small children and animals. Use enclosed containers like plastic bottle caps tucked behind appliances or inside cabinets, places only ants can reach. Wash your hands after handling the mixture. It is still a pesticide, even though it's a naturally occurring mineral. But compared to the synthetic chemical cocktails that professional exterminators routinely spray across your kitchen counters, inside your wall cavities, and along baseboards where your children and pets crawl, borax carries one of the lowest toxicity profiles of any registered pesticide in the country. So why doesn't every homeowner just use borax? Because you cannot build a subscription business around a product the customer only needs to buy once. You cannot patent borax. It's a naturally occurring mineral pulled straight from the earth. You cannot create a proprietary formula that forces seasonal repurchase. You cannot generate product dependence when the solution sits next to laundry detergent and costs less than a cup of coffee. So, it had to be repositioned. Not banned outright. That would have raised too many questions. Just quietly buried under an avalanche of branded products, professional licensing requirements, state certification programs, and multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns designed to convince the average homeowner that killing ants is a job for a trained specialist. It is not. The pest control industry spent decades building a wall of complexity around a problem your grandmother solved with a mixing bowl. This knowledge didn't disappear because it stopped working. It disappeared because a $26 billion industry needed it to. Every single spring, half the households in America waged the exact same war that their great-grandparents already won, with a spoonful of white powder from the laundry shelf. The ants didn't change. The powder didn't change. The only thing that changed was who profits from your not knowing. Borax is still sitting on that shelf right now. Still $4. Still waiting for you to remember what they spent billions making you forget. If this made a difference, subscribe. Share it with every homeowner you know who's still writing quarterly checks to an exterminator for a problem their grandmother solved for free. Every share preserves what the industry tried to erase from public memory. I'll see you in the next one.